All right, so Donald Trump's criminal trial is on a break today to allow the former president to attend his son Barron's high school graduation. When court resumes on Monday, Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, will return to the stand for a fourth day. Yesterday, he faced hours of intense questioning, with defense attorneys accusing him of lying during his testimony. So joining me now in Studio 57 is CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, always good to see you again. Bring us up to speed. What did we hear from Cohen the last time he was on the stand? What stood out?
So they really spent a lot of time attacking Cohen's credibility yesterday, which is, of course, something that we expected and that the prosecution has been preparing the jury for. But they heard this litany of all of the times he's lied to Congress, that he's lied under oath. They brought out inconsistencies about things he said about whether or not he wanted a position at the White House or sought a presidential pardon. And then the real standout moment of the day is they brought out a phone call that Cohen had testified about earlier in the week, where he said he called Trump's former bodyguard, Keith Schiller, because at the time Trump was with him, that was a way to talk to him and update him on the Stormy Daniels situation. And we saw this call log. It was a 1-30-second call. But what they showed us in court yesterday is that surrounding it were text messages between Cohen and the bodyguard about a teenager that had been harassing Cohen, a 14-year-old, apparently. Right. And so what Todd Blanche, Trump's attorney, said is that Cohen was lying about it. He really made
Cohen had said that phone call was about
Stormy Daniels. So he was saying, how could you possibly have talked about both of these things in this 1-30 seconds? And, you know, inferred that because they were texting about the harassment, it must have been what the phone call was about. Right. So really, he's trying to insinuate that not only has Cohen lied on the stand in the past, but perhaps he's not being honest in this courtroom now.
And they continue to sort of question his motivation, right? Pointing out ways in which he has been sort of calling for revenge. They talk about his podcast where he said that he wanted Trump to go down for what he did with his family. I don't know if that's really sort of a counterpoint to what Cohen is saying that Trump did, but I guess motivation counts for something.
It does. As you're saying, though, it doesn't go to the facts of the case. But when they played that podcast, I was in the courtroom, and it was very jarring. For one, it was quite loud, but also the Michael Cohen that we've seen on the stand has been so calm. He's been measured. He's really kept his cool, been very composed. And then on the podcast, you heard this sort of bombastic, vengeful Michael Cohen. So I wondered if the jury also is thinking about whether the Michael Cohen they're seeing on the stand is the Michael Cohen from real life. So yet again, it could also hit at his credibility potentially. But yes, it shows that he could be motivated by vengeance, but does that necessarily actually undermine the facts of this case? Right. Not necessarily.
Can we talk about the political circus surrounding this case, which I think has just grown day by day? I mean, it used to be just, you know, Trump stopping to talk to cameras every day, but now there's whole groups of Republicans showing up.
Yes, it's become quite a circus, and yesterday was really striking. Trump strode in, and filing behind him was just the biggest entourage that I had seen yet. There were almost a dozen House Republicans in court with him, along with his son, Eric Trump. And then the other day, there were a few people who had come. It's almost become a vice presidential audition as well. J.D. Vance was there. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, came the other day. So really, this has just become a place where Republicans can show their loyalty and support of Donald Trump. Some of them are also going outside and criticizing Michael Cohen, which is something Trump cannot do under his gag order.
Another stop on the campaign trail, it seems. Katrina Kaufman, thank you very much.
Thank you.